What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Common Apparel. Yep, that's her name, Common Apparel. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys a DIY that I have recently made. If you're new to the channel, you've probably never seen this series before. It is basically where I just like buy a piece, or I have an idea for a project in mind and I go out and buy a couple of pieces, alter them, and I make something out of it. I've done this 2 times before on the channel. It was with a hoodie and a DIY tracksuit. Today I'm going to be working on a long sleeve striped collar shirt. I bought the piece at a thrift store. It is from the Club Monaco brand. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys the process that the piece went through. The process that I took to alter the piece. I'm just going to be showing you the process of me actually altering it, what my initial kind of like thoughts and ideas were. Just to preference this, I am not a very good drawer. I'm not very good at drawing. So if you're in my shoes and you kind of want to like design your own clothing, or just, you know, in general just like alter things, and you want to see how they look like before you actually get around to doing any alteration, programs like Photoshop or Illustrator or Microsoft Paint, it's the best one. That's the one I use. This was the initial design of the shirt. As you can see, it's just a bunch of different patches of fabric kind of like dispersed around the long sleeve. I've never made anything that resembled the initial image after I finished it, so this was just to start off. I made sure to record it because I knew it was going to change. The first thing that I did was cut out the first rectangular patch from the stripe pink fabric. That's when kind of like my next idea sparked. I saw the rectangle and I saw the fabric that the rectangle was cut out of. That looked really cool. So I went back on Photoshop, I did some tweaks, I did some changes, and then I came up with this. So it's basically just the same pink rectangle patch. And then along with that, I made like a larger rectangle with a cut out patch that was the same dimensions as the actual rectangle patch. So it almost looked like that rectangle kind of like fell off the larger one. I really like that design, so I decided to go with that. The dimensions of the, I have my notes here by the way, that's why I'm going to be kind of like looking back and forth. Sorry if I'm not looking at you the whole time. I do love you, you are very beautiful, but I need to look here. The dimensions of the rectangle, like the smaller one was 2.5 by 12.5 inches, and like the larger one was 5 by 18 inches. And just in case you are kind of like making something with a similar concept of like, you know, making patches, the way that I stitched it on, and I feel like this is a really good way of doing it, is through like a technique that I found on YouTube called like an invisible stitch. Basically just hides the thread, so it makes it look really clean, really neat. So that's what I used to actually stitch the 2 pieces of fabric to the dress shirt. The next kind of step was to alter the actual dress shirt itself. It had super long and like cuffed sleeves, and it had an oval extension on the bottom and the back of it. And I didn't like this very much. I wanted to get rid of that. I wanted to make it straight on the sleeves and on the bottom. So what I did was just cut off the sleeves completely. I was going to clean up the edge of it by like folding it and making a straight stitch, but after seeing the exposed raw material, I liked that a little bit more, so I left it like it was. And as for the bottom, I decided not to leave it raw, not to leave it exposed, so I did a straight stitch on the bottom, and actually I also did an invisible stitch. The bottom did actually flare out a little bit, and I did not like that too much, so what I ended up doing was I slimmed it down. And then lastly, the last thing I did, I don't know if this is going to be liked by many people, but what I ended up doing was actually stitching the 2 middle parts together. So what that did was just make this almost like a pull over, and you can take the buttons out and it doesn't come apart. So after I stitched the 2 middle parts together, I was happy with the product that was done. But this video is not over. Unlike the other DIYs, I'm actually going to be showing this piece in a bunch of different fits, just to show you guys how I would style it. We're just going to be telling you guys like what we thought about it, like how the process of us like actually like, you know, like coming up with it was, what we like about it and all that. So the order of the fits is going to go from the simplest one and then the very last one, so the third one is going to be the one that Adam and I enjoyed the most. Let's just get started, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first fit is with the DIY shirt. We bought a pair of trousers from Simon's. They're double pleated corduroys, and then we have white Achilles low cotton projects.
And a quick little note, in the store, for each article of clothing they sell, they have like what kind of category it falls in, and they themselves categorized it as anti-fit, fit, and you see here that that's pretty true because it's just kind of like baggy and long, and no one in the world has those kind of proportions.
The slacker fit, like with the shoes, I feel like it works really well. With the Common projects, I know a lot of people like to show off the silhouette of them, but I do like just kind of like the toes kind of like budging out. And this fit, I really do like it just because the kind of like the contrast between like the light and the navy. It's not really a contrast, it's just like a different shade, like one's lighter than the other. And I feel like if you just put on darker shoes, it would just make the top stand out too much. So I feel like it blends really well together with the white shoes. The next fit we have here is with the same DIY shirt. There is a green, kind of like forest green jacket thrown on top of there. It is thrifted. There's the same navy blue corduroy double pleated pants from Simon's. And then lastly we have the yellow New Balances that we also bought at Simon's.
The New Balance 420s, may I add. They are literally called the 420s.
Best model.
Best model.
So for this fit we relied around kind of like the concept of keeping most of the colors well blended together. We feel like the jacket, the trousers, and the shirt kind of like goes really well together, and then we wanted to like pop that with like just like a pop of color, just break apart kind of like the green, the blue, and the blue and the pink.
The top 3 items, they're all kind of like on the same side of the color spectrum. None of them are too similar that it like looks too matchy. None of them are too different that one kind of like strikes out from the other. So then you kind of have those 3, and then you have the shoes kind of just in the bottom there, just, you know, popping out.
Screaming.
Yes, exactly, screaming. It's like a... Yeah, the top is like The Starry Night by Van Gogh, and then the bottom is like the painting where the guy goes, ah! Good analogy.
Last but not least, we come to our favorite fit. This includes the DIY shirt. There is an Acne Studios jacket on top of that. The pants are the same style of pants we had previously, so the corduroys from Simon's, except this time around they're in a kind of like a green brownish colorway. And then we have a pair of pink Common projects on the bottom. Now we tried this fit just with the pink Common projects, the pants and the shirt, and we felt like it was too like blocky almost, like the pink matched too much with like the elements, the pink elements on the actual shirt, and like the pants just like threw everything up. It just didn't look good.
I kind of look like a Lego character.
Yeah.
One color, one color, one color.
Yeah.
Like nothing spilling over to the next.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly, right? And this is where like the Acne Studios jacket comes in. We feel like it really just, it acts like a bridge from like one color to the other. It just blends everything really nicely. Super well together.
Yeah.
So this fit actually kind of like closely resembles the same kind of concept we used for the other one, in that we used colors that like matched and blended really well together, and then we popped it with like just like a pop of color. So we feel like the jacket, the pants, and the shoes kind of like blended really well together. We know like pink is kind of like an uncommon color to have for shoes, so it did, you know, it does spark some attention, but the paleness of the pink with the jacket kind of blends well together. And then the shirt is kind of like that element that really pops, and we feel like that maybe is why we like this fit so much, just because it really does complement the shirt very well in our opinions.
Yeah, and the shirt also has pink on it too, so it does like add some cohesion with the rest of the fit.
Yeah, I feel like if it was just like blue without any of the pink elements, the shoes would kind of not, they would just get lost.
And that's why that's our favorite outfit of 2012.
Okay guys, that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed this. This is a little bit different than what we do before in the DIY. I feel like it's cool because it does actually combine like the both of us together, because before it was kind of just me. We would like to know whether or not you liked it or not, so definitely let us know by leaving a dislike, and then just leaving a really nasty comment. Maybe just like send us like a terrible email as well, and perhaps even unsubscribe. That would be just the cherry on top, so you'd really make our day.
Yeah, and send us our mother's nudes too.
Oh god, yeah.
Because that's just...
We love to collect those.
If the unsubscription was a cherry on top, then this is a chocolate drizzle.